Hello. How's it going, everybody? Wolfie here for another day of excitement and ice cream. I have no other purpose in going outside than to fetch ice cream, the occasional grocery, and eventually a trip to Vegas, but that'll be a while. No, don't beep. There. And my rearview mirror is actually a mirror. Been a weird day, but a good one. No complaints. Well, one complaint. A little weird. I normally am live streaming this time of day on a Saturday, and I do it so regularly it apparently irritated my soon-to-be ex-wife. But I started around noon and made it. Well, it's 4:30, and I quit about 10-15 minutes ago. I just got really tired for some reason, just utterly exhausted, ready to take a nap. See, it's still there. Also, I'm intensely jealous of the guy's house I just drove past. His garage was open, and I could see into it, and it's like, got room for a car in it. Instead of my garage, which has piles and piles of crap in it that I need to throw out. That reminds me, Monday, I definitely need to take that shitty mattress and bed frame out of there and get it out to the curb, now that I know they'll actually pick it up, and free up that room. And maybe haul out some other shit from the garage, and there's actually a lot to throw away out there. It's the one room I haven't really finished cleaning out after she took off. So that'll be fun. It's cathartic to throw away shit from somebody's shit that you don't care about anymore. It's really fun. But no, usually I'm wide awake and bushy-tailed. I can burn an entire weekend live streaming if I, really get into the game. But for some reason, I just really lagged today. And I don't know why. I slept pretty well. I didn't get up too early. I didn't sleep in too late. And I don't know what he's doing. I also don't know what? So, okay, I'm on a street. It's a thing you put cars on. And I'm at a corner, an intersection, waiting for a light to turn green so I can turn. There's a gas station to my right, and there's a car pulling out and trying to turn going the same direction I'm going, northbound on this street. Now, it's right at an intersection, so there's 4 lanes of traffic here, 2 left turn lanes, and importantly, a median. What the fuck is going on? I'm so confused, and I'm the sober one. What the hell? I clearly don't drink enough. Okay, sorry, I'll continue explaining because I do not understand what just happened. So there's a car that presumably wanted to get out and, go northbound on Dean, which is where I just was. So, and there's no other direction to go. You have to turn right out of that particular driveway, out of that gas station. You can't go any other direction. You can't turn left because there's a median that'll block your way in the middle. Plus, it's right on an intersection, 4 lanes of traffic. You'll never get across that. So, she only had one option, turn right. And she had her right turn signal on. And so the guy in the far right lane, there was traffic backed up about to the driveway, but there was room for her to pull out. And the guy before the driveway, on Dean, had stopped and was gesturing, go ahead. He was yielding for her, go turn into this lane. And she was waving him off and going, no, go ahead. And he was really confused, like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you going to do besides turn right here? And there's nobody. You saw, well, you couldn't see, but I don't even know how to describe how stupid and fucked up this is. there was traffic in front of me. It was all cars all the way up to the light. So there was no room for her to turn in and, muscle her way into the turn lane. And and she wasn't trying. And then somebody behind me started honking their horn at all of us to start moving when the light turned green, even though we were all moving. And nobody was trying to yield for this woman, because she wasn't trying to get across. And the guy that initially yielded for her just kind of rolled on by. And then there was no traffic behind him, and she still, with the green, letting traffic go, she still just sat there in the driveway. But I don't know what the hell that was about. I'm so confused. These are the kinds of weird things you encounter just when, I don't know. I don't even have a brush to paint broad strokes with here. I can't just blame it on her being a woman. I've seen men do stupid shit like that too, but maybe she was high or drunk or something. I don't know. Crazy. So yeah, back to fatigue and sleep and stuff. Slept okay. I didn't there's occasionally stuff that'll ruin your whole sleep night. Well, sorry, a whole night's worth of sleep. Sleep night sounds like a game or a sport. Well, there are bedroom sports, but those don't involve sleep. What the hell that guy's problem is? Weird people out today. Yeah, bedroom sports. I'm talking about sex. But no, didn't have any of that last night, sadly. Maybe soon. Who knows? If I play my cards right. But no, sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night with a nasty cramp in my leg. They call those Charlie horses. They hurt like hell. And once one starts, it's really hard to get rid of. And about the only thing you can do is stand up and put weight on the leg that is enraged and screaming pain. And that hurts worse, but it goes away quicker. The only other thing you can do is lay there and ride it out, and that is agony. And once that happens, it just fucks up your whole night's sleep. You really never get comfortable again. It just keeps you awake, or you never quite get back to REM sleep, I don't think, because the pain is just acute, and you're acutely aware of it. That didn't happen last night. It doesn't happen much. Actually hasn't happened in a few months now. Quite a few months. And something else that hasn't happened for quite a few months. Also, I'm still realizing how life has gotten better since she left. That's just terrible to say, but it's the truth. I also haven't aspirated in quite a few months. And that's when, this mostly happens when you're asleep, because you're not conscious to fight the reflex, I guess, that happens. But aspiration is when if you've ever had a vomit burp, when, you burp, but a little bit of comes up too. And, if you're awake and you're somewhere public, you don't have much choice but to, chew it back, man, chew it back. You know what reference that's to. You win a cookie. It's a great movie. Starred John Ritter. But yeah, so, vomit burp, a little bit more than gas comes up. And that doesn't happen either very often, but it does happen. Tim Allen joked about it once in a stand-up comedy act. So yeah, it's a thing where if your stomach's upset or you've eaten too much food, maybe that's why I haven't had this problem. I really don't overeat anymore. But yeah, so you burp, there's pressure in your stomach, and so you know, burp, or you think you're going to burp, but what really comes out is a liquid surprise. So, when you're awake, you've got the sense to either, swallow it back down, which is yucky, or just spit it out. Get rid of it. If you're asleep and your stomach decides to toss just a little bit of acid back up your throat, you do not have the conscious foresight of mind to deal with it properly. And what can happen is if you're laying there minding your own business, sleeping and bothering nobody, and a little bit of that comes up, it can go in your lungs because you're not conscious, and for whatever reason your body's too stupid to know to either cough it all up or get rid of it, or at least close off the lungs and wake up so that your conscious brain can deal with it. Nah, it doesn't bother. It just keeps on breathing, and so you get that shit in your lungs. So what essentially happens, and this is aspiration, you throw up a little bit and you inhale it. And this happens in your sleep. Now, your lungs are really impressive organs that are meant to breathe in air, gas, a gaseous fluid. Oh shit. Beat him. A gaseous mixture of gas, and parse oxygen out of it and put CO2 into it. Your lungs are not meant to have vomit in them. Vomit is not a good thing for your lungs to have in them. Really. I know this sounds counterintuitive, and it's boggled medical science for decades, but really, you're not supposed to breathe vomit. The net result is that it hurts like hell. The shit just burns, because it's stomach acid. It's acid in your lungs. And it does not feel good. It is really uncomfortable. And of course, you're choking because you can't breathe. You suffocate a little bit. And this immediately jolts you awake. There's no sleeping through this. And it eventually comes back out. But it takes hours. It takes absolute hours to get that shit out of your lungs. So if this happens at 2 or 3 in the morning and you've still got 4 or 5 hours to try to sleep, it's gone. You're not going to be able to sleep reasonably for that remainder of time, because you just that stuff, it doesn't take much either. Just a little spurt. and down the hatch it goes down your lungs, and then you spend the rest of your day coughing it up. And the problem is that stuff burns, and it burns nonstop. And every time you cough up a little bit, it burns a little more. And you end up living your whole day just coughing that, or clearing your throat and hacking that stuff up one little breath at a time. Not fun. I don't recommend it. But none of that happened last night. No cramps, no aspiration, no... didn't even wake up for anything. Sometimes in the middle of the night, you wake up and you gotta go to the bathroom. But that didn't even happen this last night. That was fine. So I don't know why I'm tired today. It is weird, and it is a strange mystery. There's rubble there now. There used to be a building there. I was here I was here at night last time. That's why I didn't see that. I don't remember what building was there, but it's gone now. There's something new in its place being built. It's just like 7 layers of brick high so far. Or concrete, cinder blocks, I guess. Oh, man. You see? No idea why I'm tired. I am rocking some new glasses today. I don't know if you caught that. These are these are weird. They're progressive lenses. I've never had bifocals before, and my ophthalmologist said it was time to get them. And then she suggested getting progressives instead of bifocals, since the bifocals have a line in them, and progressives just... And sure enough, they do. That is so freaky. If you look through the bottom half, they're blurry here, but looking forward, like normally, I can see really clear. I can actually read signs all the way. That's Forsyth, and that is, what does that say? Eastbrook? Ha! Neat! It does! Cool! So, yeah, that's a thing. So, yeah, these are my first progressive lenses. They're nifty. A friend of mine tells me they actually make progressive or bifocal contact lenses. So, she says they work really well. So, I'm going to have to go pester my ophthalmologist again and say, hey, can I have some of those? Get out of my pocket. I fight with the simplest things. Oh, yeah, that'll work. I just struggle with the simplest things in my day-to-day life sometimes. Getting something out of my pockets. It's an impossible task. I did have one other subject I just thought of right before I left the house. It's about porch bandits. But that led to something else. Porch bandits aren't all that interesting. They're just shitheads that wander neighborhoods and steal packages off front doorsteps. You know, UPS, FedEx drops stuff off, and presumably you want to pick your stuff up, but someone steals it before you get to it. And people like that are just shit heaps, especially around Christmas. Just standard thieves. They deserve to be shot in the street and, dumped in the landfill as far as I'm concerned. What is that? What? Oh, cup of water. Okay. What a weird thing to order at a ice cream place. That wasn't what I was going to rant about. Not the porch bandits thing specifically. They're just a lead-in to this idea that I've had lately that there was actually a word for this, and I want to say it's either tyranno-anarchy or crypto-anarchy. I forget which of the two terms it is. But it's a simple concept. It's the idea that the police, or the government in general, the state, fails to punish the overtly criminal, like Antifa, BLM, rioters, vandals, porch pirates, that sort of thing, but actively prosecutes and punishes people for defending themselves. Hang on. Right, I return. So, yeah, this idea, I forget when the term was first coined. I've also forgotten which term it is. So it doesn't matter too much what the name is. The idea's been around for quite a while. It's actually used to describe a common feature in a dystopia, where essentially law-abiding citizens are not protected by the government, and the law does not protect them, and when they take matters into their own hands to seek justice, the state punishes them. And it's kind of funny that you hear the discussion on Nextdoors, where I saw this thing about the porch bandits, is that they asked, hey, did you call the police? Did you call the sheriff? And I'm sure the answer is no. then this was just posted a few hours ago, and it's no Facebook, that's for sure. So there's not a whole lot of activity on the site, not much traffic. But you know the answer to that question is going to be no. Because what the hell are they going to do? And that's kind of sad. We're supposed to be able to call the police when something bad happens, when somebody breaks the law, and they're supposed to, show up and help. Or, track down the thieves, or patrol the neighborhood to catch the thieves and prosecute them, or whatever. But that never seems to happen, does it? And you reach the point where you start to wonder, well, what's the point of ever calling the police? They're not going to help me, so why should I? And that, incidentally, is where this utterly stupid idea of defunding the police comes from. Because that line of thought that I just took you down is very naive. The police do still do stuff that benefits us. Just not enough of it. And that's the real problem. And they're also a bit hamstrung by politicians, especially in places like Portland and Seattle, where they're just straight up to, oh shit, this guy wants in. Okay, you're good, come on. Come on. There you go. Where they just straight up tell their police not to bother stopping Antifa and to go beat up anybody that tries to stop Antifa. Now I think that's open insurrection and sedition as far as I'm concerned. Those are politicians that really should be dragged out into the street and shot. Not in Minecraft. I'm actually pretty serious about that. I'm not saying I'm going to go do it. Hi, feds. But that really needs to happen. These people need to start suffering real consequences for their decisions and their actions. But we get to this point where people feel helpless because when they call the police to report crimes, nothing happens. Nothing appears to happen. And in a lot of cases, nothing happens. It's just sort of a sad truth. And then there's also this sense that if you were to solve this particular crime yourself, you would be the one getting dragged into court and maybe thrown in prison. And there's truth to that. It's 68 degrees outside, dude. It's probably not the best idea to have a begging for money sign that says, I'm cold, on it. Just saying. Right, but... Oh, yeah. Turn signal. I don't know what goes through my head some days. This crazy asshole. So take this example of the so-called porch bandits. That's such a cool name for a really stupid, shitty crime. We have all these really fancy gadgets now that were supposed to solve this problem. Did you notice that they kind of slipped this one by us? Things like Ring and Nest and these the very, very popular vendors for doorbells with cameras on them, where you can see exactly who's walking up to your porch and ringing your doorbell. And it's an intercom system, so you can talk with whoever's at the door instead of, getting off your fat ass and just going to the door when they ring or knock. But, some people have disabilities and can't move that fast. I mean, hell, my own parents are that way, so I shouldn't really shit on it for that. But they make this big thing out of how... In fact, there was a controversy about this a couple years ago when people realized that for products like Nest, in particular, I think Amazon owns them now, or was it Ring? It's one of the two. Google owns the other one. So, the two biggest fucking tech companies, or retail companies, whatever, two big-ass companies, who we all have some privacy concerns with, happen to own the most popular lines of home surveillance equipment in the consumer level. And this controversy stirred up because people discovered that they don't have access to their own footage, recorded on their property by gear that they paid for and installed for very long. Like maybe I think it's like 30 days. You have to pay to archive it, to keep it. You can't download it yourself. At least to my knowledge, you can't. And in fact, that's the reason I sent back a piece of surveillance gadgetry, because I needed something local at the time. But anyway, not only can you not get access to those recordings yourself after a certain period, but Amazon and Google do keep copies of all that data, and they share it with police. Incidentally, the hockey pucks, Amazon Alexa and Google Nest, or Google Voice Assistant, whatever the fuck they call it, those listen 100% of the time to everything you say, and Google and Amazon reserve the right to record any of it and keep it for any purpose as long as they want. In other words, if they get a hair up their ass and decide they're going to try to catch crime in the home as it happens, and they decide that, I don't know, any loud scream warrants calling the police, they might do it. But no, that's another adventure down privacy lane that you can have when you feel like not sleeping for a night because you've got like 8 of these damn things in your house, like I do. but yeah, so the weird thing about these video surveillance things on doorbells is that you can't really get to the footage reliably for very long, but the police can. And yet, despite all that, despite having crystal clear footage of these shitheads that come up to your porch and steal your packages and run off with it, you think any of them ever get caught? No. So what's the point of having these kinds of surveillance gadgets in the first place? Even with the police having full access to all of the footage all the time, it doesn't do any good. So what's the point? Even when they have footage and you call the police and say, hey, this shithead stole a package off my porch. That was a $1,000 laptop. Go get his ass. Cops are going to look at that footage and go, yep, that sure is a thing. Well, see ya. Maybe they'll take a report because they love their paperwork. But nothing's going to come of it. And so that leads you to wonder, what can you do as an ordinary citizen to protect yourself against somebody being a porch bandit? What do you do? Now, my response would get me thrown in prison. I have guns. And if I were home, and see, I'm home most of the time anyway, I work from home, so if I get a package delivered to me, I get wind of it. I'm notified within a couple minutes that, hey, your package is delivered. So I go out and get it. I don't let stuff sit in my porch. But a lot of people can't do that. And sometimes I miss an announcement too. I'm busy or I'm distracted or I'm sleeping and something arrives early or whatever. And I know that if I went to my door and opened it and I saw some shithead walking away with a package that was on my doorstep a few seconds ago, I'd yell at him and beat the shit out of them and take my package and go inside. And I have no doubt that if that were to happen, they'd call the police and the police would show up. Did you hit this guy? Like, yep, fucker stole my package, so I beat the shit out of him. He robbed me and he violated my property rights. He set foot on my property, stole my stuff, and when I demanded it back, he told me to go fuck myself. So I fucked him up. What are you going to do about it? And depending on the day, depending on the mood of the officer, probably get handcuffs slapped on me and dragged to fucking jail. And that's messed up. That's not how it should be, but it is. Incidentally, that's why they tell you, if somebody breaks into your home and you have to use a firearm to defend yourself, kill him. Seriously, don't shoot to wound, don't shoot to maim or disable or scare off. Mag dump, empty your gun into him, into whoever broke into your house. Just keep pulling the trigger until the bangs stop happening, until the banging stops. And the reason they tell you that is that, dead men tell no tales. And there have been cases where somebody breaks into a house and the owner catches them and shoots them, and they escape with their lives. They actually get away and they don't die. And they've actually come back and fucking sued the homeowner that they were trying to rob for assault or bodily injury and medical bills and all that shit. And sometimes they win. Your homeowner's insurance covers that kind of shit. Usually. But it's just retarded. And so, yeah, if you leave somebody alive to tell the tale, they can come back and mess with you. So, as far as I'm concerned, you catch a porch bandit on your porch stealing your shit, put a bullet through his head. Just solve the whole fucking problem. That's an Amazon van. Ooh, that might be for me. I get so excited. All right, I'll catch you guys later. I got ice cream to eat and probably a package to intercept. So, see you guys.